So we've had some really encouraging findings today. 75% of male and female managers believe senior male leaders have the particular responsibility to support women's career development. Why do you think it's so important that these men act as role models?
Well, like it or not, currently in most organisations, it's men that are in the positions of power. So they are in the best positions to be able to reach out to the people who are up and coming in the organisation, and not just by providing them advice and mentorship, but actually by sponsoring them.
They were talking about it starting at the top. So here we had a lot of chief executives or people representing their organisations, but equally in politics. Politics also has to represent the wider nation. So Parliament has to be reflective of the population, and then starting from there and then working our way down so we can all do something.
How exhausting must it be for a woman to feel like she has to address sexism every time she experiences it? You know, she'd be exhausted by the time she got to lunchtime. So I think it's an equal responsibility, and perhaps men should take the first step to address it.
What can men do to shut down workplace discrimination when they see it?
I think the easiest thing is to sort of call it out. It's obviously wrong, so it's all our responsibility to call it out, and whether that's within the group or to the person doing it, it's about as simple as that.
I think the first thing to do is just simply call it and say, I think standing actually up for someone else who's in that situation is a very, very powerful statement to make to everyone, especially the person that's just been in that situation, especially if they're more junior. And so I think the right thing to do is to call it and say, I'm sorry, I don't think that's an appropriate comment.
70% of male managers say they actively champion gender balance. So what's a good practical intervention that could see more women get into management?
So I think for men, if they're recruiting for a role and they get a short list that isn't diverse, I think they need to send it back. And they need to say to either their hiring manager or the recruiter or the headhunter, I'm sorry, that's not good enough.
We talk a lot about mentoring, and mentoring is great, but actually to shift the dial, and if you look at research as well, it will point to the fact that sponsorship is the key thing.
2024 is our target, 1.5 million female managers, and we'll achieve gender parity if we stay on that track. What do you think UK business will look like when we do achieve gender parity?
I think, well, hopefully a lot more dynamic, a lot more informed. If everything that we hear about how good diversity is, then yeah, we should be. I mean, hopefully, as was said in the event as well, we should be leading the world as well. Parts of the world are showing that they may be going back in time. We should be taking things forward.
I think what we'll end up with is much higher levels of productivity, much higher levels of engagement, much higher levels of happiness and health.